take the session, and then we will discuss whatever the case or the query you will have, we will discuss the same. So I have taken the first case. It is from Bombay High Court regarding the the case name is Wellmet Flow Control Private Limited versus Union of India. So in this case, what is the facts? The facts was that the applicant has filed a refund application before the GST department, okay, and that refund is applicable for a particular month, that was August 2022. What happened? The taxpayer has earlier also filed the refund for the period of April to August 2022. Please remind that month that the earlier the taxpayer has filed the appeal for the period of April to August 2022, but for the August 2020 they have again filed the refund application. Why they have filed again refund application for the specific month? Because there were some supply that has not been taken or considered during the earlier refund application. Now the refund application has been filed. Department has rejected the refund application, mentioning that since you have already filed a refund for the particular tax period, so you can't again file the refund application for the same tax period. The taxpayer has submitted that it was my vested right that if there is any refund, then I can claim the same, and there is a time bar limit. So I have filed within the time bar, whatever the time limit that department has prescribed, I have filed the refund application within that timeline. So our refund should not get rejected. But the department has rejected the same. Then appellate authority has also considered the same view. They have also rejected the same. Then they filed case before the High Court, Bombay High Court. And Bombay High Court has considered the case and passed the judgment that since they have already filed the tax, it doesn't mean they don't have right to claim the refund for the same taxpayer. They should allow, and if the department must check that whether they are eligible or not. If they are eligible, then they must allow the refund, and the department has uh, ordered that held that the refund application should be continued, and if it is eligible for other ground, then it must be passed on. So the final judgment was that yes, they can file the refund application if they are eligible. So the case name, again I am repeating, Walmart Flow Control Private Limited versus Union of India. So this was the first case law. Mohiji, if there is any point from your side on this point, then you say, otherwise we will proceed for the next case.
Please proceed. Please proceed from my side.
The next case law is relating to the point that the taxpayer Bagga Fat Pharma, okay, that was the proprietary firm, and they have filed a reply against the order of the department. Okay, earlier that the department has issued the notice for financial year 2022. Then they have issued notice again for the same matter relating to 22-23. The taxpayer has already filed the reply against the matter, and old financial year 2022 one matter, 2021 matter, where department has considered the reply and dropped the case. On the same ground, department has raised the notice for the next tax period. Taxpayer has submitted the reply. Department has considered the reply, but mentioned that the matter is under sub judice and case has rejected. So the main thing, why the taxpayer has filed the case before the court, as the appellate authority has also listened that and said that since the matter is sub judice, so we can't proceed for the application. The taxpayer filed the case before the High Court and said that already we have submitted the reply. Department has not even discussed on the reply. They just mentioned the matter is sub judice and rejected the case. So in that case, it is totally non-application of mind, and they have not even considered that on the same ground your tax authority has already the case had earlier tax authority has already case has accepted and dropped the matter, but during the next tax period you have not considered the reply and just mentioned that matter is sub judice, so it is not acceptable, and the case passed in the favor of the taxpayer. So the main point is, if we recently see that the department is passing the order without considering the reply, That's why the taxpayer has agreed by the order and they approach before the appellate authority, and in some matter appellate authority is not passing the order considering the facts. They are just supporting the order that has been passed by the adjudicating authority. Then the taxpayer must approach before the next authority, that is that was earlier High Court. Now GST 80 is also functioning, so you can also approach before the High Court. But earlier, the tax since that the appellate authority has not considered the reply or some the facts, they have just supported the view that has been passed by the adjudicating authority. But the taxpayer has approached before the High Court, and High Court passed the favorable in the taxpayer. So if your order, if your reply or if your submission is not considered by the lower authority or the appellate authority, you must not stop there. You must not worry there. If your fact is supporting, if a ground is supporting, then you must approach before the next whatever next authority, either GSTT or High Court. And I think Mohit, you have also faced these kind of situation where the department has not accepted the point that I have already provided or submitted before the lower authority. They have just passed the reply is not satisfactory. On that ground.
That
So
see,
in
these are the common practices which department follows. So I'm just interrupting. They have
yes,
two
yes,
kind of tailor-made lines. One, that we have reviewed the submission and it is not satisfactory. Secondly,
yes,
during the personal hearing, they used to say that learned counsel this has appeared and reiterated
yes,
the written submission, and they have nothing more to add, and they also don't want any other personal hearing. So
yes, yes.
this is the procedure which they follow. Please continue.
Yes, yes. In this case also, the case I am discussing, Baga Bat Pharma versus the state of Punjab. In this case also, the notice was related to what? The notice was related that you are supplying taxable supply and exempt supply both. So you have to reverse the ITC against the exempt supply. Taxpayer has already reversed the same. And they have already earlier also in financial year 2021, they have also submitted the reply. They have accepted the same. 21-22, the same reply has been provided, but they have not even accepted, and they mentioned the matter is subjudicial and we can't pass the order in favor to you. And appellate authority has not considered the same. So in that case, it is very important that if your point has not been considered by the lower authority, you must proceed for the next authority. The next case that I have taken, it is TVL Madhu Agency versus State Tax Affair. It is also important case laws, and it is very practical kind of thing that under GST law, annual return, initially the annual return filing was applicable. There were turnover limit 2 crore, and there were provision that you have to also file GSTR 9C, and 9C was also after 5 crore you have to file 9C. Initial provision was you have to get it certified from the CA, and then you can also only submit the same. After that amendment came that now it is not mandatory for the CA certificate. You can self sign the same, and on self basis you can submit the GSTR 9C, and the limit was 5 crore. So now the matter that in the case of the TVL Madhu Agency versus State Tax Appeal, what has happened? Madras High Court, the case reached before the Madras High Court. Initially, I would like to discuss the facts. The facts was that the taxpayer has filed the annual returns. Annual return means GSTR 9, and they have also required to file GSTR 9C as the turnover was exceeding 5 crore. So taxpayer has filed the GSTR 9, but they have not filed GSTR 9C. So practically, in we have also seen in so many cases, the taxpayer has filed 9 and they had not filed 9C, like saying that there is no late fee for the 9C. And so we are just filing 9 because the late fee would not be applicable upon us. And then again, and after some time, I will file the GST 9C. The same thing happened for the financial year 21-22. The taxpayer has filed the GSTR 9, but they have not filed GSTR 9C on time. Then what happened? Then after some period, they have filed the 9C. The department has issued a notice that you have to pay a late fee against your annual return because you have late filed the reconciliation statement. So the first point they have discussed that it's a reconciliation statement. If you say section 47 where the late fee has been covered and mentioned that if you are late filing any return, then you have to pay late fees. So the taxpayer has contended before the lower authority, even appellate authority, that is not related to reconciliation statement, that late fee is applicable to only return. The another point they have supported that we have filed GSTR 9 on the time, but the department has contended. Department has said that we have amended the provision. Gradually, the provision has been amended under GST Act. They have inserted Rule 80 under Rule 83. They have mentioned Rule 80. They have already mentioned in amendment during the financial year 2021. Financial 21, they have amended the provision. Then they have also amended Section 44. So gradually the provision has amended, and under that provision it has mentioned that you have to file a return along with reconciliation statement. And again the department has issued circular also. Circular number 246/3/2025, in which the department has clarified that GSTR 9 will be the part, GSTR 9C will be the part of the GSTR 9. So the department, even the advocate on behalf of the department has submitted that 9 will not be complete without filing the 9C reconciliation statement, because the provision has been amended gradually, and it has already been mentioned. Even we have issued the circular in this regard that 9C is the part of GSTR 9. Then the matter came before the High Court. High Court seen the contention of the both the party, and the High Court passed the order in favor of the department and said that GSTR 9C is part of GSTR 9 as the relevant amendment has been made under the GST law. So you have to pay late fee if you have not filed GSTR 9C on time. So it's a very kind of practical thing, because already department had already issued the circular in this regard, but we were saying that the circular can't override. So now the High Court is also supporting that view, and the provision is also mentioned in such a way that you have to file 9C on time. So what are the practical takeaway for us? Whenever we are filing GSTR 9, or if GSTR 9C is applicable to us, we must file GSTR 9C along with GSTR 9. Otherwise, department may issue notice to you to pay the late fees regarding the GSTR 9 or 9C, whatever you have not filed on time. So these are the third case that the department has considered during that department has issued and the High Court has issued, and this is issue in the against the taxpayer, and we must have to very carefully file GSTR 9 and 9C on time. So any take from your side, Mohit bhai? So these are the three case law that I have covered. Now, Huiji, you have, if you have some case law, then you can discuss that case law.
Thank you, Gauravji. We'll discuss a couple of cases in
Yes,
continuance of what you have said.
sure.
So, uh, uh, these are also 2026 cases,
Yes,
but these cases which I'm talking are also very relevant, and these
yes,
cover the exceptional situation. So, first case, which is from the Honorable Madras High Court in the matter of Kalantar Madina Textile versus Deputy Commissioner. So, what happened in this case? Department
yes,
had proceed with the late fees under Section 47(2) for non-filing or late filing of annual return, along with the general penalty under Section
yes,
125 of the CGST Act. So the question which came before the court, that whether late fees along with general penalty both can be imposed on the happening of a single
yes,
uh, failure, or I will say non-compliance. So the High Court have decided in this matter that once a specific provision of late fees is there in the law, then general penalty cannot be imposed in that case. So the learned court has set aside the penalty under Section 125 and upheld the late fees under Section 47(2). That is the first case. Second case is applicable on the legal years. So we all know that in case of a person who is a taxable person who get deceased and post his demise, his legal representative shall be responsible for the payment of due taxes and also for the compliance of notices and orders. Now, what happened? This is a case before the Honorable Bombay High Court. In case of Naveen Vishnathan versus State of Maharashtra, the question came before the court is that whether the legal heir of the deceased can be, whether a recovery notice can be directly sent to the legal heir without sending him any show cause notice or without providing any opportunity of being heard. So the Honorable Bombay High Court have said that in case of a legal heir of a deceased person, an opportunity of being heard should be provided and a show cause notice should be sent to him before directly proceeding for the recovery. So what department did, they actually started the recovery proceeding under section 79 and they have freezed the bank account of the deceased son under section in DRC 13. So Honorable Bombay High Court have clearly said that in case of a, even if there is a liability, there is a ascertained liability, there is an adverse order against a taxpayer and the proprietor get deceased. In that case, even if department want to proceed the recovery, before starting the recovery proceeding, they must send notice to the legal here and they must provide him an opportunity of being heard before going to any regressal mechanism. The third case, that is an important one, it is also from the Bombay High Court in the matter of Florida Solvent Private Limited versus Superintendent CGST and Central Excise. So here what happened uh, in this case that my supplier's registration has been cancelled by the department because of any reason. And because of that reason, since my supplier's registration has been cancelled, the department has also cancelled my registration. And that is also retrospectively. So the question came before the Honorable Bombay High Court is that whether my registration can be cancelled only on the sole ground that my supplier's registration is cancelled. Now, on that particular point, Honorable Bombay High Court that said that even if the registration of supplier is cancelled, the department must verify the eligibility of ITC, including the invoices, e-bills, ledgers, bank statements, and delivery proofs before cancelling my registration or before taking any adverse action against me. So only because my supplier's registration has been cancelled, they cannot cancel my registration. In general, what happened that once the registration of my supplier is cancelled, what department generally do, they used to send 74 notices to me and used to claim that your ITC is ineligible. Now, in this particular case, which we just discussed, in case of Florida Solvent, what department did, they also cancelled my registration only on that sole ground. So, Honorable Bombay High Court have clearly said that the registration cannot be cancelled only on this ground, and department must do the extended verification before taking any adverse action against me. Now, next and last judgment, that is from the Kolkata High Court. This is a section 129 proceeding read with section 116. So what happened that this is in the matter of Nishu versus Union of India. Here the question came before the Honorable High Court is that whether the personal appearance is mandatory or the legal representative, the counsel of the taxpayer, can represent before the department in case of section 129 where vehicles has been seized by the department. So what happened in this case? Goods and vehicle were detained despite valid documents, and even after 4 months no seizure order was passed, while authority repeatedly insisting on the personal appearance of the petitioner. The court observed that the instance was unjustified, especially when ownership could be determined from the documents and the legal representative, the counsel of the assessee, the counsel of the taxpayer has represented. So personal appearance is not required in these cases where seizure has been happened and the taxpayer is identified and it has been properly represented by the counsel. So these are the 4 judgments. I believe Bombay High Court judgment in case of Florida solvent is very important, where where adverse action has been taken, and this can be used, and also in case of I will say deceased person also. So it's a common things that your father, your mother is doing some business, they suddenly demise, nobody knows that what are their tax litigations going on, and department has suddenly started the recovery process against me. Even I don't know anything about the business, I live in any other city, I'm not attached with that business. So the proper representation opportunity should be received. So these are 4 judgments from my side, Guruji.
Yes, Moichi, I have to discuss regarding the Florida judgment. Okay, in this there are so many taxpayers they are suffering from these kind of situation where they are making purchase from the supplier, and some at initial level we can verify the same that yes the supplier is a registered supplier, and at what kind of thing we could check that whether the supplier is registered, yes registered, they are filing the return, yes they are filing, but after some period they don't file the return. If they don't continue their business, there are so many things. In that case the taxpayer could discontinue from their business, and it is not in our hand that we could control the same. And we are having multiple supplier, we are having 100 200 supplier, 1000 suppliers from whom I can project. If one or two taxpayer from that to 100 or 200 supplier is non-compliant, then the cancellation should not go with the cancellation should not go with the buyer. My point is that I would like to ask from you, because there are so many person who has joined the session, they would also like to know that what are the precautionary thing that a buyer should do before buying from any taxpayer, that once the case will come, once any situation they will face, that the person from whom we have purchased, their registration has been cancelled, so what kind of documentation or what kind of precaution that will save him?
See, Gauravji, uh, 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 this is what you are talking about is a common situation in the market as on today.
Yes,
So there are
yes,
two kind of buyers. One who
yes,
are the genuine buyers, and second one who are compromised.
yes,
We are talking about the genuine buyers in this case. So when I did the purchase transaction from some certain supplier,
yes,
definitely the registration of the supplier was active. He was in existence on some particular premise also. He must
yes,
be having operative bank account in which I have made the payment. He must
yes,
have sent the goods to me. uh, Even it was a local transaction, so there can be a possibility that EV bill is not required, or it was a very local situation. It can be a B2C, B2B, bill to ship to situation. It can be a bill to ship to situation where the goods are not delivered to me. So now, when his registration has been cancelled, what is my
yes,
first thing which I have to do? So who will inform me that the registration has been cancelled? Definitely the department. I cannot
yes,
vote, or I cannot check the department portal every day to just to see
yes,
that my all my suppliers are active or not. Second question which should be coming to your mind, that what is the cutoff date, or what should be the last date when this particular scenario should be stopped. See, I have availed the ITC in April 2024. My
yes,
GSTR 1, my GSTR 3B, through which my GSTR 3B, through which I have availed the ITC, is filed in May 2024. My annual return has been filed in December 25. So if my supplier was active in December 25, when
yes,
I have filed my annual return, then
yes,
the ITC must be appearing in 8A also, because
yes,
2A, 2B, 8A, all three are separate Pandora boxes. 99 out of 100 cases will have variance in 2A, 2B, and 8A. All three will
yes,
show different figures. But what I take at a base, that consider 8A as your
yes,
base,
yes,
that is the last ITC reconciliation table auto-populated on the GST portal, upon which ITC has been allowed to me on GST portal. Secondly, department also used to send notices only and only on the basis of 8A. They doesn't consider 2A or 2B. They only consider 8A. So what I have to see when the registration has been cancelled, whether my annual return has been filed for that particular period or not, means 8A has been freezed or not. That is the first thing. Because 8A will get freezed when annual return is filed. Definitely 2A will to be freezed when the monthly return is filed. 2A is dynamic. That
absolutely,
can change any day, even for 5 years, 6 years. So what is my take in this particular case? If annual return is filed, 8A is done, then that is my final benchmark for the availment of ITC. My supplier was active for uh, 12 months, 15 months, 18 months. If March 25 is also the purchase, he was active for 9 months. That is a
Yes.
very good period. Secondly, whether the supplier is reachable or not, whether he
Yeah.
is taking any action to get his registration active or not, whether he is reachable or he is just vanished. All these things came into picture. Thirdly, what kind of documents I have. So what kind of documents I should have?
Yes.
If I'm a standard company, I must be issuing PO. If
PO.
I'm not a
Yes.
standard company, I'm a MSME, I'm a small taxpayer, I'm not issuing PO, I'm making orders on phone. What I'm getting in return, I directly get the invoice. I get a e-invoice in case of the supplier is having turnover more than 5 crore. So that is the first important document, that e-invoice is there. Secondly, e-way bill is there. If e-way bill is not applicable, then in that case, I need to prove that the delivery has been done. If e-way bill
Yeah.
is there, then we need to make sure that the vehicle details which are entered in the that particular e-way bill is a feasible vehicle in which that particular goods, that quantity, that item can be delivered, that can be supplied.
Yes.
Then, if it is an interstate movement, if it is an interstate movement, then I must have some kata parchi, I must have some GRN also. Then I
Yes.
must have made payments from my bank accounts to the bank account of that particular person. Even corresponding sales also help you. Say if my purchases are rupees 100, my sale is 110, I have a GP ratio of 10%. Is it possible? What department have also challenged, that also need to see. If department has only challenged that, we are not challenging your inward supplies, we are only saying that your supplier's registration is cancelled, that's why you have to pay. But they
Yes.
have not challenged, the actual supply of goods. They have not challenged that the ITC has not been deposited. So that is a very weak case from the department side. Because
Yes.
Section 16 conditions, if fulfilled, and thereafter the registration has been cancelled, then in that particular case, department case is very weak. What department have to do? Department have to challenge two things. The registration has been cancelled and ITC has not been deposited. The tax has not been deposited. Now, in that particular case, what I have to prove? The documents which we have discussed, that also, along with that, I need to prove that I have paid taxes to him. And law binds me that I need to pay taxes to him. I cannot directly deposit it to the department and the RCM or any other mechanism. So I have only
Yes.
followed the instruction of the government, of the department. Secondly, doctrine of impossibility also came here, where I have no authority, I have no access, or I have no permission to check whether he has deposited the tax or not. If I
Yes.
had a mechanism to check, then only department can put the liability upon me to make sure that your supplier has deposited the tax. If functionality is not with me, how can I check it? Department have
Yes.
the functionality. Why they have not taken action on within time? See, if a supplier have to file return for April in May, in June or in
Yes.
July, why they have not freezed his registration thereon and did the proper inquiry at that particular time? Why they are coming after 4 years, 5 years, or 3 years? So
Yes.
we have to see what kind of allegation department has imposed, and then we our original or genuine document trail can be this only. If we are in process of issuing PO, that is the first document. That PO must have been sent on the email. Then invoice I must be having, and it can be a e-invoice also, that is also very good, generated from GST portal. Then e-way bill is there, vehicle details mentioned in the e-way bill, are the capable vehicles on which such particular goods and goods can be transported. Then next is, if there is a GRN, that must be there. If third transporter facility has been used, RCM must be paid on that particular transporter expense. If I have booked the transporter expense, if I have booked the
Yes.
expense, then definitely I must have paid the RCM also. That is also a proof that this is the particular expense against this particular inward supply in which I have also discharged the RCM. Then if there can be a kata parchi also, and then the corresponding sales. So I can be a two kind of person. One, I can be a trader who is purchasing, who is selling. So FIFO will help me that from this person I have purchased, and this person to whom I have sold, and he is a genuine person. And these are the corresponding sale bills, and then this is the stock register for this particular period. Secondly, if I am a manufacturer, then my photographs and pictures of the factory where manufacturing process is going on, where I have the machinery set up, and then the conversion register also, that raw material has been purchased, finished goods have been converted, and these again FIFO I'm following, that these goods who were manufactured has been sold to these particular persons, and these are the genuine persons. I'm not saying give the complete paper trail for the sale as of now, but submit a periodic sale register and the stock register to substantiate it, and then see what department further ask. So I cannot do, I need to see what kind of allegation is upon me. If it is only for the retrospective cancellation, that is a very weak stand from the department. If they say you have not that the supplier has not deposited the tax, even in that case department is not challenging the supply. What they are saying, that supply you have received, you have made payment to him, but he has not deposited. Now since I have followed the government instruction, I have followed the provisions of the law, I cannot be penalized in that particular case also. Thirdly, if department tells that you have not received the supply, then extended documentation will come into picture.
Yeah. Thank you. You have explained in very detailed way. Now I have one question also from the case law that you have discussed regarding the recovery from the legal years. Okay. So I have just I have faced a situation. What was the case? The taxpayer who has been died and his legal heir has to pay the tax. Okay. The amount of demand was approx 1 CR. Okay, and his legal heir was not continuing the business. The taxpayer has already, his father has already died. Business has discontinued. Now the recovery proceeding of 1 CR, there were no any inheritance from the father side. Whatever they have net worth, whatever they have the assets from their own earning, their own fund. Okay, so now whether we can fight before the court that the recovery against my father, recovery against the demand that has arisen against my father, but I am legal here. Whether it means that I have to pay whatever the liability arise on his registration, whether there is no assets from their end. Because as per the recovery procedure, yes, they may recover from their legal heirs, but at what cost and at what level? Whether they can go like inherited property or they will go for the personal whatever. If I am earning anything from my salary income, I have purchased a flat, they could go and attach our flat, personal flat also. So what's your view in this point?
Sir, see, what law says and what department do, that both have different situation. But law
Yes,
says,
yes,
law is absolutely clear. In all the laws, including income tax, service tax, excise in the previous regime, and GST. Section 93 of CGST Act is absolutely clear that in case of a deceased, the recovery can only be done from the estate of the deceased through the legal heir. So if
yes,
deceased have any money, either in movable form or in the immovable form, then in that particular case, the recovery is to be done from the estate of the deceased through the legal heir. Now, what question the question arise? So this is the answer. Firstly,
yes,
that if the deceased roughly have 50 lakhs of worth, see he has
yes,
some RDs, bank, insurance, and then
yes,
roughly one small property also. If everything includes 50 lakhs, then that is the maximum amount department can recover.
yes,
So
yes,
that is what law says. If department do some harassment to me, then court are there to protect me. So that is the first thing. Second thing, uh, what is how the supply chain or how the process should go. See, I let me give you an example. I
yes,
am a
yes,
registered person. I am a senior citizen. None of my kids are working with me. I was going through a bad health phase. What I did in 2022, I closed my business. I am
yes,
alive. My registration was cancelled on my request only. Everything is
yes,
okay.
yes,
In June 2022, my registration has been cancelled on my request. I have no pending cases as on that date. Then in 2024, I demised. In
yes,
March 2024, I demised. In August 24, department sent a so-cause notice of 1718 under section 74 to me.
yes,
My registration has been closed. It was uploaded in the login. Now it was uploaded in the login. Some reminder has been sent. Some demand has been reached. I had three first class years left after my demise. My wife and two kids. One is son, one is daughter.
Yes.
Now the question came, the department had no information about my demise as of today.
Yes.
Whether after cancellation of registration, when the proprietor was alive, whether after his registration has been cancelled and accepted by the department, after his death, whether I'm duty bound to inform the department or not, that is the first question came into picture.
Yes.
When
Yes.
when,
Yes.
when his registration is active, legally are duty bound. We are okay with that situation. That is absolutely okay. There is no question on that. But when the registration was cancelled during his life only, and thereafter, whether I'm accountable, whether it is mandatory from my side, or whether I'm accountable to inform the department. Secondly, when Stoker's notice has been received by me, by the deceased person, and his login has been accessed by me, I received some OTP, some SMS, I received some email, I have accessed. Now the question came, out of three person, who shall be the legal representative, who shall be the legal heir of that particular person? Because there are three legal heirs. If none of
Yes.
them appear, I am saying none of them appear to the department, then
Yes.
against whom department will proceed? So the process is very complicated here. Department go with their comfort. Choose any one person and impose everything upon him. However, the process is very complicated. What department have to do once they have identified that the person is no more? The first thing they have to do, that they need to identify the surviving member, and that is identified through surviving member certificate or legal year certificate. Once
Yes.
department knows that these are the three legal years, department next step should be to ask that who is representing the taxpayer. Otherwise, we will proceed against all of three. They have to
Yes.
do a protective assessment in that particular case. They have to proceed against all three. They need to check all three have received what from the deceased person, and what they have received from the deceased person estate, and accordingly they should proceed. But practically, what department is doing, if nobody approaches from the uh, I will say deceased person side, they uh, they used to check his bank accounts and then see who person have taken over the bank, the wife, whether it was a joint bank account or not. Presuming that his personal account were joint bank account with the wife, they used to freeze the bank account straight away.
Yes. Yes.
So this is how department proceed. How they have to proceed, that I have told you. How they are proceeding, that also I have told you. And we have seen the situation where the person, I have also seen the situation what we have told, that legal here doesn't have not received as much amount which he owes to the department. Secondly,
Yes.
he doesn't have the books of accounts. He doesn't have any record. He cannot challenge that
Yes.
demand also. So n number of situations are there, but this is the tailor-made situation which is also given in the law. Only amount equivalent to the estate of the deceased that can be recovered from the that can be recovered against the liability of the deceased, which is a ascertained liability.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Now I think it's 12:40, so we should open the session for the participants. So now, if any of you have any query regarding the GST, regarding the recent update, whatever case we have discussed, or any other case, so you can discuss the same. So now, if anyone have query, they can ask from us. Yes, Mahendra Janji, yes. So you should unmute yourself and ask your query. What are the query? Yes.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, now audible.
Yeah. Same just now, sir, I discussed regarding invalid credit. My
Yes,
dealer had purchased the goods from a company, which was my dealer had purchased a bullion from a supplier who was a private limited company. At that time, he was
okay.
registered under GST Act, and
Yes,
he is regularly filing his GST 1 and 3D at that time.
yes,
And this period, the period was 22-23, and
yes,
the supplier issued e-invoice, and same was visible on 2D. After the next
okay.
year, when we were went to file annual return, at that time we found that this claim was freeze by the department,
Yes,
2 digits free, and the total credit was the 7% of our total purchase.
okay.
Then we filed the annual return without considering that because it was not possible to pick that credit. So there was demand was raised in annual return, but we have not paid. After the department audit, they found they have done the audit for the 5 years. But for that year, they have not done anything except that there is the same demand. Because this credit is not visible in a day. And they requested us to pay the credit, but we have not agreed. After that, matter went to officer and he issued so-called notice. But they also let's say they only raising 1 point only. This credit invalid credit because the number is cancelled. And so then we have explained everything that my dealer is registered under already GST Act. We have checked at that time supplier was registered, supplier was regularly filing 1 3D, and we are regularly making the payment through banking transactions. Our in bullion e-way is not applicable. So what else will do? And at that time, even my customer all are 100% active. So if that trade was invalid, then how can I pass my trade to my supplier customers, which are still existing on at that day? So instead, they were listen and they added the demand. Now we are in CIT appeal. Sorry, commissioner appeal. So what to do?
Commissioner. Yes, Menderji. So we are practically facing these kind of things. Since in your case, what I have found that you have purchased and you have
Bullion.
all the supporting paper as per Section 16 or as per GST law, whatever documents or whatever supporting documents or paper things should require, you have all the thing. But what are the situation that in this day at appellate level, till appellate level, department is not considering the same. But what I would suggest you that if your everything purchase and your supporting documents is genuine, you must go before the next authority, because at appellate level they will not go in favor of you. In rarest of the rare case, the department is considering the same. But at high court level, or I expect that at GST level, these things will be listened or considered properly, and you will get the judgment. I think Mohitji, you should also deliver your point, what you should suggest.
See, Mahendraji, my take is very simple in this particular case. Firstly, I have to see there are two kind of situation. One, I'm genuine. Secondly, I can prove that I'm genuine. I need to
Yes.
show what I need to see what kind of documents I have, and if I have complied all the conditions under the provision of law, and I have did everything which is mentioned in the law, and something has been expecting from me which is against which is not possible for me to do. Then in that particular case, you should proceed and you should challenge that particular action of the department. And again, what I've said earlier, that you have to see that what kind of allegation department have imposed. So the more strong allegation they impose, the more uh, strong documents you have to submit with the appellate authorities to prove that you are genuine. And the weak allegation which department have imposed, it would be very easy for you. There are two kind of situations in appellate authorities. One is the question of law, and second is the factual thing. What is a question of law? That whether the cancellation of registration of supplier can be a ground for the inadmissibility of ITC. That is the question of law, and for that, once it will be settled. So it is already settled by the multiple high courts. Yes, the apex court is yet to comment upon that, but multiple high courts have already settled it. Now the second question is on the fact that what kind of documents I have to prove my genuineness. So if I have complied all the conditions of section 16, and what I've just told, that if it is an interstate movement, I have the extended document with me, I have GRN, I have paid the transporter expense, I have paid RCM on the transporter expense. Then if I'm a trader, then I have purchased, and on the FIFO basis, I have sold to this particular person, and these are 3-4 persons to whom I have sold, and these are the documents to confirm the chain. Secondly, if I'm the manufacturer, then the photographs of my manufacturing factory, my factory. Secondly, my fixed assets having heavy machinery recorded as fixed asset as a manufacturing process, and then the conversion of stock register, and again the sale process. See, if department have not challenged the sale, it is not. It is on a very weak link to say that the purchases are non-genuine. Secondly, if department have challenged that you have invoices from one side and then uh, uh, invoices from X person and purchase goods from Y person, then in that case also you have to prove with the extended documentation that from X person, from where you have the invoice, you have also purchased goods from that person also. So these things varies from situation to situation. So what kind of allegation department have imposed exactly in the show cause notice and in the order, and whether the allegation in show cause notice varies from the allegation in order, whether the scope has been changed or not. So you have to see the technical points also in that particular case.
Yeah.
But majorly the situation is same which we have discussed.
Because in my case, they just there's only one allegation that this is invalid because number is cancelled.
I'm
Applied.
sorry. Gaurav ji, I'm not able to listen to him. Can you
Yes,
just
yes.
repeat?
Please speak loudly, Mahendra ji. I am
Yeah,
also not able.
yeah. There is only one allegation that your query invalid because supply number is cancelled. So when number is cancelled, how you pass the credit?
No,
So,
that
see,
is that is what I have
Uh,
told. Na, that is a question of law. And
yes.
on that particular question of law, multiple high courts have already decided. So your case is on a very strong footing from your client perspective in that particular case. See, the worst situation, if I'm telling, the best situation which you have told, that only because registration has been cancelled, the show cause has been raised. That is the best situation for you. What is the worst situation for you? That some search has been happened. The person has admitted he has issued bogus invoices. You only had compromised invoice with you. You must have purchased the goods from that is from some other person, not from this person. So you have two allegation upon you. First allegation, invoices without supply. Second allegation, supply, inward supply without invoices. So that in that particular situation, what department have countered, they have countered your sale also. So now,
Yes.
even if in this particular situation you are submitting the stock register and the sales, department have already mentioned in their show cause notice or the order that yes, you have received inward supplies from, but not from this person, from some other person. So they
Yes.
have booked you under two provisions. One is the invoices issued without actual supply, and secondly, actual supply received without invoices. So under section 122, both are penal. So that is the worst situation I'm telling you. And what we are talking is the best situation for you, that only the allegation of cancelled dealer. Now, in that particular situation, you have to keep patience with you and proceed with the appellate authority. You will get the relief in tribunal.
and last, will it make any difference if supply not traceable now?
Sir, it is not possible for me. Again, doctrine of impossibility came into picture.
Okay.
If see, if I'm genuine, that my documentation and my statement will reflect it. If supplier was in existence, I knew where his shop was, and so that is the place where his shop was. He had 4 employees. He had this employee who is a senior personnel. This is his number. This is his name. So genuineness, when it is a genuine case, you are very easily able to elaborate it or explain it with the additional or supporting evidence, and they work very heavily in these kind of matters.
So, Mahendra ji, I think your point has
Okay.
been covered.
Yes. Thank
Yes,
you. Thank you.
yes. Unmute yourself. Now, one another query has been come through message that Mr. Devesh Narayan, he has asked that if the recovery from made to the legal here from the state left, so he is asking that if his state was for 1 CR and demand is for 2 CR, then recovery will be made till 1 CR or recovery will be made beyond the 1 CR also, that we were discussing.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's
Please repeat the question. Sorry, I missed it. I missed the starting part.
yes, yes. The question is that whether the recovery from legal error will be limited to the state that has been left from
Limited
that.
to the state. Limited to
Yes,
the state, and that is all that you have to prove. See, that
yes,
department will not prove that, you have to prove.
yes, yes, yes. I think for that you will you have to go with the upper authority because at appellate level they will not even consider your point that the state is less. Mahendra ji, I think you're not muted yourself. Please mute yourself. And they are saying that the Mr. Devesh Narayan, you can unmute yourself and you can ask if you are.
See, this will then become a civil dispute case. Let me tell you,
Yes.
because if the property value is rupees 100 and the
Yes.
total claim is 200, see, 100 from department and 100 from the bank.
Yes.
Then when the question is not with you, that is with in between the bank and the GST department, and it will become a civil dispute, and court will decide to whom that amount will go. Yes, you will
Yeah.
be a party to the suit, but that will become a civil suit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other points from any other person? You can also raise the same. So I think it's 12:52. If anyone have any question, then we will discuss the same. Otherwise, we will conclude the session. So I am just waiting for any person. If you have any query or any question from your end.
I think there are no more questions. But lastly, I would say, see,
Yes.
for any case, you all must be doing taxation from so many years. For any taxation case, show cause notice is the foundation of the case. So that is the
Yes.
most important document you should take seriously. Generally, 8 out of 10 professional doesn't read the show cause notice verbatim. You must read the show cause notice verbatim. You need to find out the mistakes which department or the officer did while issuing the show cause notice, and those mistakes will help you to get a favorable order at the later stage. There are two kind of mistakes. One, curable mistake. Second, non-curable mistake. What is a curable mistake? Where generally courts or appellate authorities remand back the case. What is happening in case of a consolidated show cause notice and consolidated order judgments in Bombay High Court and other judgments? Then what they are doing, they are quashing the order and show cause and remanded it back, stating go with a separate order. So that is a curable. What is a non-curable mistake? The mistake which cannot be cured. That makes the total assessment as defective assessment. Let me just cite an example for that. That for 1718, you have received a notice in August 24, and the notice says that the demand is for difference between 3B and 2A. Now, in that
Yes.
particular case, can a difference between 3B and 2A can become a 74 case? From my point of view, it cannot become a 74 case. When it is proved that it is not a 74 case, it is a 73 case. Once it is a
Yes.
73 case, whether it has been issued within the timelines of 73 or not. If it is not issued, then the notice and order will be quashed. So
Yes.
you must read the show cause notice, identify what kind of mistakes are there, and also focus on the technical aspect along with the merit and factual and legal position, that this is
Yes.
a defect in the notice, and that defect is not a curable defect, and that makes the complete assessment proceeding is void. So as much as seriously you take the show cause notice, proceedings will become very easy for you in the appellate stage. And if you receive any case at the appellate stage, at the first or second appellate stage, you must read the show cause notice from very beginning. Doesn't expect that the previous consultant is as much as learned and as much as hardworking like you, and must
Yes.
have put everything in the reply and the appeal. And please do not solely rely on the reply and the appeal. Must read the original documents also. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Mohitji, and thank you all the participants who have joined the session. We will again continue this series on the next Saturday at the same time. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mohitji. Thank you.